Hi, everyone. I wanted to do the introduction this week, but I wanted to go back in time to when I actually was in your shoes and I was just graduating. So imagine I got the highest accolades for graduation, and here's kind of like in my imagination or in my memory, this is what happened. Okay, you ready? Okay, pretend it's literally graduation night, and here I take the mic, and maybe I have my phone here to help me with the speech. So here we go. It's graduation night in whatever it was so long ago when even your instructor was graduating. Here it goes. Friends, colleagues, fellow student body, it has been a wonderful time here at Walsh because, guys, just so you know, I did graduate with my master's from Walsh in Troy, Michigan. So anyways, here at Walsh, we are here. We went through a lot together. We had a lot of classes. We took a lot of classes. The curriculum was challenging, and I wanted to thank everyone that was part of it, the instructors, the school, especially my parents who helped finance my dream and everything. Let me just talk about what the next exciting path is in our career, and let me just thank everyone for these great opportunities. Wait a second, I've got this call. Okay, hold on. You can hear it. I got the call. Hello. Oh my gosh, GM. I just graduated, and you're already calling me. I did post my resume and my application just last week, but okay. So all right. Well, let me get back with you. Anyways, friends, countrymen, those that took this journey with me, I just wanted to say thank you. And this is just the first hurdle in a long journey of learning, of knowledge, of accomplishments. Oh, hold on again. Hold on. Ford, you're calling me? I just put my resume out there a week ago. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, all right. We can do an interview. Okay. All right. You can have me. You and GM could have a bidding war against me. All right. Anyways. Okay, that was kind of comedic, if you will. In no reality has a graduate ever basically during graduation been bothered by people trying to begging them to work at their facility. It's always been a long, difficult battle. But within the last 5 to 10 years, it has been exponentially more difficult to find a job, not only within your major, but even any decent job at all. It's always been, sometimes you have to know somebody or you have to have a relative or something. We've seen this it used to be, for example, in the 70s, you could go to law school and then you just went and got your job after you graduated. It didn't matter if you if you did law review, or it didn't matter if you interned at a law office or anything like that. You could get a job right away. It's not like that at all. In order to get a job out of law school, you'll have to get a very high GPA in law school. You'll have to excel, like literally excel on the bar exam. I'm sorry, it escaped me, on the bar exam. And even then, you're going to have to get lucky to join a firm, you're going to have to know a judge, or you're going to have parents that were both attorneys. And that's pretty pathetic in 2025. You spend all this money to go to school, and getting a job is almost like a crapshoot. And speaking of that, it's even worse in IT, in computer science. In fact, the harsh reality is that no, you're not going to be called for a job just because you got a degree. Yes, a degree is good, but it's a mere one of the many tools that you need to have in your arsenal. Imagine you have, for example, a big bag of tools. Each tool is something that your employers may use to sense whether or not you can be hired. Here are some of the tools, things like experience, things like certifications. And the third thing, well, experience. Experience is the universal currency for IT employment. Let me say that again, and let me underline it, and let me put exclamations after it. Experience is the currency of employment. Degrees are nice, but the harsh reality is if a high school graduate dominates the lead code portion of the interview, you know, the part where they just hand you a laptop and tell you to, program this, that, and the other. If your competition dominates that part of the interview over and above you, I mean, you could literally have 2 doctorates, and you're just going to get the, well, we'll get back to you line from them. In today's world, in fact, presuming in this scenario you don't get the job, you never even hear back from anybody. It's a cold world. Experience is king in IT. As a matter of fact, I just saw a statistic that said 30 to 40% of entry-level jobs, we're talking entry-level, we're talking help desk, we're talking data entry, still require 3 to 5 years of experience. So the question is, what came first, chicken or the egg? How can you get experience if nobody hires you? Well, things like personal projects, entrepreneurial pursuits all help to give you that first experience. Everything from going to a friend to say, hey, how can I help you? Can I write you a small app to write you a to-do list or a calendar? And of course, in today's smart world where most things are, no cost, you can get that calendar for free. So you can get that organizer for free, okay? But it can be costly because a lot of these free apps are going to require them to, create a profile, sign in, so they'll at least have their email. And sometimes, just so you know, these free apps are written just for the fact that they want your information. Of course, you can always leverage that when your buddy says, no, I don't need this free to-do list because, I already have it. I can just download free trials, or I can download this free software. You can tell them, hey, this free software is at a cost. So if you want to download a free flashlight on your Android phone, for example, why is it that when you download any type of software, they want your information? Why do you need access to my contacts? Well, go ahead and download any app on your Android or even iPhone, but it's worse on the Android phones. Tell them, go ahead and download any app, the free flashlight, or do this, and they'll say, well, can we have access to your contacts? Can we have access to your location? Why the heck do you need access to all this? Well, just so between you and me, they do this because that's the sole purpose of why they're offering this app for free, is because they want access to all your juicy information. Imagine, if you will, you sold shoes, tennis shoes, that were on par with Jordans or something like that. Getting access to people with the type of income that would want those shoes is literally as priceless as gold, because that's your market right there. So that's why they want all of this information. And for those of you that are like, well, what do you mean entrepreneur? Don't I need startup money or investment money? I'm here to tell you, you do not. When it comes to IT, most everything that you need to start off with is free. That's right. Free, free. For example, Python's IDLE, their IDE, their development environment is free through IDLE. There's VS Code, which is free. There's IntelliJ, which the community edition is free. And there's a student and teacher version that all you got to do is type in your email to verify, and that is free as well. Eclipse, Linux, all these development environments are free. The GCC, the C++ and C environment, IDE essentially, or what do you call that? The compiler, that's free as well. Kali, which when you download it, Kali Linux comes with 3,000 exploitation tools. The knowledge is out there for you to gain. All it takes is time and effort. And I'm showing a picture of this. This is I'm here. Let me just move my notes right here. This is a Raspberry Pi. Of course, it's not closed properly, but this cost me maybe 120 bucks at Micro Center. I bought it a year ago. This is the RPi 5, and you can plug. It comes. You can load Raspberry on it, which is a Debian-esque Linux distribution. What can you do? And you can put in Ubuntu. You can put in Ubuntu server. You can even put in open BSD if you want. Free BSD, I should say. There's a version of free BSD that's meant for Raspberry Pis, for the ARM architecture. Whatever you put on here, make sure it's for the ARM architecture, because that's what the Raspberry Pi is. But the point is this: you can develop a LAMP system. We'll talk about the LAMP architecture. You can install LAMP on here. LAMP, of course, is Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. You can put all of that on here. Moodle, okay? Many universities use Moodle as their version of Canvas. Okay, that's free too. So you can create from scratch. Put on here Moodle, and you can create your own fictitious university or something. When I say fictitious, I mean a virtual university. And anyone watching this right now, look at yourself in the mirror. Everyone puts themselves down. Everyone wants to put other people around them on pedestals and look at themselves in the mirror and say to themselves, because some jackass employee doesn't know themselves. I actually was interviewed. I got the job at Stellantis, but my first interview, the guy asked me a question about ADAS, and he asked me how could I prevent all these other companies, because ADAS is an effort that requires strategic alliances with all the big three: GM, Stellantis, Ford, Toyota. All of them are contributing to the ADAS database, right? And he's like, well, how do you think you would guard, if everyone has access to this, how would you guard it? And I told him access control list. That's what you would use. And I could tell that's not the answer that he was looking for. So I was thinking about it, and I did get hired, and I questioned the guy who spearheaded me to get hired. His name is Greg, and I asked him, and I told him the question, and I said, I got the impression that the person that interviewed me didn't like my answer. He goes, well, the real answer was firewalls. I said, okay, thank you. So I guess I said to myself, I should have answered firewalls. That night I went to sleep, and I woke up the next morning, and I was like, wait a second, a firewall is nothing but a cluster of access control lists. That's what a firewall is. So what I'm saying is that these interviewers out there, you're going to be faced with interviewers, even after this class, you're probably going to be knowing a little bit more about Linux and about Windows operating systems than the interviewer does. But if you answer a question not right or whatever, in their eyes, it may still be the right answer, but they may not know it's the right answer because they're just reading from a script that they downloaded or whatever. So you're going to be smarter for the interview. I'm just saying, don't let someone else's no define you as a person, because you may have had the right answer, but they didn't know enough to know that that was the right answer, if this is making sense. I'm saying this: don't rely on someone else's opinion for you to make money. If you want to become an entrepreneur, and if you're successful, you can make way more money than you could ever make working a 9 to 5. And let's be realistic, it's not 9 to 5 anymore. It's more like 9 to 9, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, because if you're so lucky to be given the golden ticket to work for these corporate masters that you're just a plebeian in their master world, their dungeon master world, and that's what I consider a cubicle, is nothing more than a dungeon or a jail. They track how long you're taking for lunch, how long you're going to the bathroom. There's even a story I had heard, a horror story, where an older lady was so afraid to eat her lunch in public in front of her manager, she actually crept inside a refrigerator, closed the door, and ate her lunch in there. That's so toxic that is beyond belief. But anyways, if you get in the golden ticket, a lot of times if you're a high performer, you get put on what they call on call. So what that means is you want to sit back and watch the football game on Sunday, you're okay, but you can't go anywhere with your friends or anything because you have to be ready to respond to any and all issues that might happen in your position. So I'm just saying, try out the entrepreneurial route because that might lead you to more health and wealth. Because remember, when you're an entrepreneur, you make your own hours. All right. So we're going to talk about one way you can become an entrepreneur, and that's exploring the LAMP stack. So a stack is nothing more than a bunch of protocols that are used to solve a problem. So LAMP is the acronym LAMP is Linux, Apache, PHP, or Python, and MySQL, or MariaDB. I don't know if I said that in order. So it's Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Now, as I said, MySQL has been replaced by MariaDB because MariaDB is faster. PHP can also be replaced with Python or Perl, whatever pleases you. However, this week we're only going to primarily talk about Apache, and then next week we can talk about the MySQL and PHP part. But anyways, let's return to what we were saying. It's about entrepreneurship, or it's about giving yourself the skills to pay the bills. It's about giving yourself the ability to create your portfolio. So you come into a job interview, let's say with no experience, and they're like, well, why should we hire you? How do we know you can do the job? Because you're going to, after you get done with your degree, you're probably going to be spending your time on LeetCode because LeetCode actually has real job interview technical questions. So you're going to dominate LeetCode, and then you're going to come in smiling to the interview, and they're going to ask you these technical questions. You're going to dominate them, but they're going to say, how do we know you can do this job? You're going to bring your laptop, and you're going to have a web page that it looks good, and it's going to have web links to all your projects. Say 4 projects. One could be a bug tracker. The next one could be an inventory management system. The next one could be for retail. I don't know. It's up to you. But one thing I've heard about is Bug Tracker is one of the central apps that you can develop that you can apply to really anything. Because what is a bug tracker? It's tracking something using a front end and a database. So you can adapt that to an inventory system. You can adapt that to a chat system. Everything goes back to a LAMP system or some kind of database, believe it or not. And emails, instant messages, all that go back to the same thing. Anyways, so you can use LeetCode to prove you can do the work, or to prove that you understand the technology, but you can prove that you can do the work by showing your portfolio. So you have your web page, you have your links, you click on the link, hopefully you have internet connectivity, you click on the link, and bam, you show them, here, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And there's no reason in the world that they can't at least consider hiring you, okay? A good rate of return for applications, for interviews per applications is 10%. 10 to 15% is a good ratio. So out of 100 applications, if you get 10 interviews, that you're doing brilliantly. And I know that's discouraging, but that's the way it is. Out of those 10 interviews, if you nail 3 of them, chances are you're going to get one of the jobs, as long as you don't bite off more than you can chew. So if you don't have any experience, please do not apply for senior systems administrator or something like that. Try help desk or junior system administrators or whatever. And when you get your foot in the door doing anything, it could be janitor for all I know, data entry. But once you get your foot in the door, kick ass, rock it, baby. And when you get home from your long day, unfortunately, you're gonna have to research your job. You're gonna have to practice it, because you never know when when one of your colleagues is sick, maybe they'll have you take over a project. And that's how you begin to make a name for yourself. And that's when you can one day become a senior systems admin. So what we're going to be talking about today we're going to be talking about Apache, the A in LAMP. We've already talked about the L in LAMP Linux. So after today, we'll have 2 out of the 4 licked. So we're almost halfway there. So congratulate yourself. Just by the fact you're watching this video means that I bet good things are going to come of this. So be happy.